Hey, let me tell you how it actually feels when your music finally sounds like it's alive in your room. The first time you sit down with the Klipsch RP-600M II, something clicks, and not just because the sound is clearer. It's because your ears finally recognize what they were missing. This is for the kind of person who notices detail, who tunes into texture, who has sat through songs and movies wondering why the sound didn't hit the way it should. You know the difference between thin and full-bodied, between flat and dynamic. Before you go any deeper, check the current price and availability, because standout bookshelf speakers like these often move quietly when people finally discover them. You probably had that moment, maybe a favorite track that should have transported you, but instead fell flat. Or a scene in a film where explosions lacked presence, where dialogue didn't sit right in the mix. That's when you realize it's not the content that's the problem, it's the gear. And you deserve better. The first time you power these up, there's relief. Not loudness for the sake of it, but clean, articulate presence. Instruments don't just play, they announce themselves with clarity. Vocals don't hide, they stand forward with intention. Bass is tight and resonant instead of muddy. It's like someone turned the lights on in a room that was always dim. In real life, this changes how you experience everyday listening. You put on a playlist and suddenly hear harmonics you didn't know were there. Jazz tracks feel layered. Rock feels punchy without harshness, and classical swells feel alive with air and space. Movies feel less like background and more like a moment because the speakers treat every layer with respect. These don't just play sound, they project it with purpose. And because they're bookshelf speakers with real dynamics, they give you presence without overwhelming your space. That's a balance you notice the moment you hear it. If you haven't already, take a moment to check the latest price and stock. Quality like this doesn't linger quietly, and hesitation often means paying more later. You might tell yourself cheaper will get the job done. That's understandable, until you hear how much you've been missing. The surprise benefit isn't just clarity. It's depth, a sense of music and dialogue that feels three-dimensional instead of flat. Sound finally feels open and honest. Music feels textured, not thin. Dialogue sits cleanly and clearly. Dynamics feel intentional, not blurred. Every listen feels purposeful. They ask for space and thoughtful placement once you hear them. Basic speakers feel limiting. Eventually you stop circling comparisons, because you keep returning to what feels right. Don't let this become one of those upgrades you delay and regret months later. Prices shift and opportunities pass quietly. If you're ready to stop settling for almost their sound and finally hear the nuance you've been craving, check the current price on the Klipsch RP-600M II and make the call. The first time you really listen, you'll know it was worth it.